I don't know you. I know my why. I'm not going to share it with you. It's personal.
Okay. Well, then
I'll share it with whoever I hire.
And this isn't really going to be, because quite transparently, we get to choose who we work with, and somebody we bring in, like, they need to be not only on the train, but also pushing the train forward. Yo ho, you savage pirates. Today's episode is going to be how to interact with somebody on a sales call who isn't following your process and who ends up becoming a little belligerent. So I'm going to be showing an example, and this is part of a call that I had with members of the salesmanship. But I wanted to give a little context first before we dived in. There's certain things that need to happen in your conversation, and part of it is getting the truth on the table. And so if somebody can be truthful about where they're at, then you can properly diagnose and prescribe a solution for them. And there's two different schools of thought here. So there's one school of thought that says, hey, like, everybody that comes to you should know exactly what their problem is because they're coming to you after all. And this works for like solo influencers, where they're the ones who are taking their own sales calls. They're the ones putting out their own copy, their own posts, and they're talking to people who want to talk to them. And so it's baked in that the person who's showing up would already have an element of trust. Otherwise, why would they be reaching out to you? Then there's the other camp of sales conversations that are happening. And this is the companies that are scaling up, who are hiring sales representatives in order to take these calls from people who are most likely coming through an ad, they complete an application, and then they show up onto the call. A lot of times when you find a company in the middle of this scaling up, right, process, those people who come onto those calls do not know you, and they don't really know the company. And it's your job as the sales professional to be able to find out if or how you could be able to help this person if they have a problem. And so what ends up getting kind of lost in the mix is, if this is somebody who hasn't seen any of the marketing other than an ad that they lazily clicked on Facebook one night while they were doom scrolling, and now it's up to you as the sales rep to do all the heavy lifting to get this person from extremely cold to now they're enrolling into the program. So what you're going to see is somebody who fit just this model, right? They've seen this guy, this particular influencer, for a while, but didn't really reach out, doesn't really know much about the program. All they know is that there's a system and I would like some more information. And that's typically what you're going to find for these types of sales conversations. And so it's important for you, and this is true whether you're the person who's taking your own sales calls inside your own business or whether you're a sales rep who is taking calls. It's true for you to let the other person know, hey, look, there's just certain boxes that I need to check in order to make sure that I'm even doing my job properly of vetting the people who are coming into this program. Because if I put the wrong person into this program, then I'm going to dilute the kind of people that are inside the program who are the most ideal fits. And so if you put somebody, for example, who has zero commitment, zero urgency to fix this problem, no matter what it is, if you put them into a community full of other people who have shown up, who have committed, who are willing to do whatever it takes, that one person could end up bringing the rest of the group down. And I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want to put somebody like that into a program. It's not good for the program, and it's not good for the people that we put into the program. It's not fair to them, but it's also not fair to that person either. Either you're in or you're out. You have a problem or you don't. And so as I was going through this process, in what you're going to see here soon, this person did not want to follow our process. They did not want to open up about how this could be affecting them. And this particular offer had a lot of very, very analytical people to begin with. But again, to make my point, it's important for you to understand, hey, I'm like the guardian. I'm like the gate. I will not move. I will not do anything to you. But if you do X, then I will do Y. If you cross this boundary, then I will have to act. And the boundary being, if you don't follow our process, then there's no moving forward. I don't know what else to tell you, right? And you're going to see this communicated inside this call. And the reason why I'm sharing this call is because most new sales reps who are kind of learning the ropes, they will allow somebody to just walk all over them and they won't have any boundaries for themselves. And so this is a clear example of being laid back, nonchalant, but also with clear boundaries and allowing somebody to come up against that boundary. Me not being mean, not being over the top, but being very cool, calm, and collected about where my boundaries are at and the kind of people that we let in. And then we see this person who initially would not open up to then saying, hey, can we please just move forward? I would like to work with you guys. So it went with, I don't even know anything about you. I'm not going to follow your process at all, to actually, how could we work together? I really would like to just, see what we can do. All within the span of 3 minutes. So this is what you're going to see. So enjoy. And what follows is, again, this is a critique inside the salesmanship. So we played this video. We then critique what happened and what they took away from it after this. Okay. So enjoy, fellow pirates. Yo ho. All right. On with the episode.
I don't know you. I know my why. I'm not going to share it with you. It's perfect.
Okay. Well, then
I'll share it with whoever I hire.
And this isn't really going to be, because quite transparently, we get to choose who we work with, and somebody we bring in, like, they need to be not only on the train, but also pushing the train forward. And part of my job is to make sure that the people I'm bringing into this, like, I'm judging their character, right? And so if I put somebody in that says, hey, I'm not willing to answer these questions, I don't know you, hey, that's totally fine. You're a human being. You get to have your own experience. But then this is what I have to do, is I have to now put you over here, because I'm going to think if I put you into this program, ultimately, that I'm a bad judge character. And that's
I'll tell you what, you tell about our conversation, you tell him I'm happy to share my personal why with somebody that I am going to be working with regularly. And that's not you, I'm pretty sure.
All right.
Screening me.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
Please tell him, because I want him to know that.
All right.
I'm happy to share that if we move to the next stage. You haven't told me anything about the services that you offer.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know you have a system, so that's what I want to know.
Yeah, and this is how we do it. So it just
that's how you do it, then. Well,
yeah.
So
sorry.
Are you about to hang up on me?
Absolutely. You're telling me that you're not willing to move forward, and this is our process. So if you're not willing to go through the process,
I'll tell you my why, because I want to have money for my family, for my children, for my legacy. I did tell you that earlier, but what else? What's your next question? Yeah.
This is not a good way to start. This is not a good.
I am telling you. Okay, ask me a specific question. Okay.
Yes. How
you realize because I'm in this hole that I'm in with time, I don't have a lot of time, and we just wasted 10 minutes with you telling me, trying to get me to tell you something I've really already told you. So what is it that you want to know specifically?
Even that right there, that's not what we're looking for. So out of an abundance of clients ourselves, we're going to pass. Thank you.
I really would like to try to work with you guys. Can you please ask me the questions that you need to ask me? Can we just reset here? Okay, hang on. I have a call coming in. Let me just send a voicemail. Okay. I couldn't hear you because it was ringing in my ears. Just reset.
Yeah. And that's totally fine. Okay. Just, you want a legacy. A lot of people have legacies before. right? You want money for your family. I guess like a lot of people want that. So why go through any of that? Because it sounds like you're.
Well, we have nonprofits that we have formed. That one is for supporting Christians and.
Okay, so he was just the best prospect after that.
I can't believe this guy closed. I can't believe this dude closed.
So before I give my feedback on that, I'd like to hear your guys' feedback. What did you see that was good? What did you see that he said? Like, was there anything that made you cringe?
Yeah. But my feedback, where I think I could be completely wrong. I felt like you definitely worked, but I felt like you didn't give him a logical reason of why you need to ask this question. The only thing you said is like, it's just the process, right? And I guess, then the good thing is you were about to hang up and that kind of like, okay, reset him the whole thing. But what logical reason can you give these people? I guess we're coaches, right? So yeah, I mean, if we're coaches, we need to know your emotional why. But you didn't really answer his. You didn't give him a logical reason.
In the very beginning, I did. I said, "Hey, man, like we need to make sure that people that are not only on the train but also pushing the train forward." So it's like, if we're going to be coaches for you, then this is our process. Because if you're not willing to follow the process now, what makes you think that you're going to follow our process later?
Right.
So, like, again, going back to what I said earlier, he knows he's in a sales process. He knows. But he's not willing to play ball. And if he's not willing to play ball, then no, you do not get to pass go. Not on my watch. Remember the frame that I gave you? We're a guardian into the offer. We're not just letting any swinging person come in off the street. Why are you there then, if not to qualify or disqualify them, to diagnose them and figure out whether this is the actual thing for them? Because if you don't do any of that, then you're a glorified order taker. That's why we probe. That's why we clarify. But you also have to be willing to back it up like what just happened there. Because that guy, if I would have just been like bowed down to him, but like, okay, even the first time where he's like, fine, and ask me your questions. And I would have been like, okay, well, what's your legacy? He was not in the frame to answer me there. I did not buy into it. I was like, hey, look, no, even that right there, like, that's not what we're looking for. Dude, total like indifference. I don't give a shit whether you come in or you're like, all I'm doing is following the process. It's the process. And if I'm following the process and I detach myself from each individual person, then I can go to bed with my head, with my soul at peace, knowing that I've actually followed the process. That guy, I followed the process and I was willing to walk away. But because of that, because I was willing to, I wasn't trying to challenge him. Like, I'm the boundary. And I told him, I'm like, if you do that, here's what I have to do. You can do whatever you want, but here's what I will do if you do this. And I have to be that person.
The two most impressive things to me on there was, one, the comment you brought up earlier, but for us, what we do, if you think about what we're told all the time, is we have to protect that community, right? So like, we can fall back on that and just be like, hey, listen, we're protecting our community here, right? And so, and let's just go right into what Ben said. Hey, look, like if we don't, like, hey, people going to think we're a bad judge of character over here. And then the second thing was the willingness to drop it all, right? Yeah, you just told me, hey, basically you didn't want to do this. So yeah, when somebody realizes you're ready to drop it all, like, yeah, that does pull them closer.